Emma was a quiet girl who lived in a small town with her parents and older brother. She loved animals more than anything. She had no dog, no cat, not even a bird. But she always believed deep in her heart that one day she would find her true best friend. She used to tell her mother every week, "One day a dog will find me and we will never be apart." It was a warm, sunny day when Emma went with her uncle to a nearby farm. The farm was old, broken, and full of junk. Emma was not excited at first. She thought it would be boring. But she liked spending time with her uncle, who always told her fun stories. As they walked past a rusted barn, Emma saw something move in the corner of her eye. It was slow and small. She turned her head and looked near, an old pile of wooden crates. There, lying in the dirt, was a dog. A German shepherd. He looked hurt. He was thin and dirty. One of his legs looked twisted. His ears drooped low. But the saddest part was his eyes. They looked tired. They looked like he had given up. Emma slowly stepped closer. The dog did not growl. He did not bark. He just stared at her as if he had been waiting. She whispered, "Hey, buddy, are you okay?" The owner of the farm came out from behind the barn. He looked at the dog like it was nothing, but a broken tool, that dog is no good. He said, "Got hit by a car weeks ago. I was going to let him go. You want him, give me $5 and take him." Emma stood still. She had never owned a dog. She had never made such a big choice in her life. But in that moment she knew. This was the dog she was meant to find. She reached into the small pocket of her jacket. Inside were 5 crumpled dollar bills she had earned that money over the past month, helping her grandma clean the porch, washing her brothers, bike-saving every coin in her glass jar. With shaking hands, she gave the money to the man. Her uncle looked surprised. "Are you sure?" "Sweetheart." Emma nodded. "Yes, he needs someone. And I think he picked me." The man took the money without a word. He said, "He is your problem now." But to Emma, Max was not a problem. He was a promise. They untied the dog gently. He stood up slowly. His body was weak. But he followed Emma without fear, without hesitation. She named him Max right then. It just felt right. She did not even have to think at home. She made a bed for Max in the garage. She used soft blankets and placed a bowl of clean water beside him. She brought him food, but he did not eat much. He just lay there, looking at her, quiet, still tired. That night she gave him her favorite stuffed bear named Cotton. She placed it beside him and sat on the floor near his head. She whispered, "You are safe now, Max. I promise I will take care of you." The next few days were hard. Max did not eat much. He did not move much. He limped badly every time someone walked too fast or made a loud sound. He flinched and curled into a corner. Emma never gave up. She came to see him every morning before school. She came straight to him after school. She talked to him about her day. She read books aloud beside him. She even sang songs softly when he seemed afraid. Her mother watched from the kitchen window. Her father said, "I do not think this dog will make it. He looks too broken." But Emma shook her head. "No. He just needs time. He just needs to feel love again." One morning, something changed. Emma came into the garage and Max wagged his tail. Only once. But it was the first time. Emma's eyes filled with tears. She dropped to her knees and hugged him gently. "Good boy, Max. You are starting to trust me." That little tail wag was the beginning. Over the next few days, Max started walking slowly around the yard. He stayed close to Emma. He never barked, but he watched her. Every move she made, he followed. When she sat on the porch, he sat beside her. When she watered the plants, he stayed near her feet. Emma's brother tried to pet Max once, but Max backed away. He only felt safe around Emma. Then something strange happened one afternoon. Emma was watching a war movie with her dad. The sound of marching soldiers came from the television loud and clear. Suddenly, Max stood up straight. His ears pointed, his eyes locked on the screen. His body looked alert, like he remembered something. Emma looked at her father. Did you see that? Her dad nodded. That is not normal. That dog was trained. The next day, Emma dropped a spoon in the garage. The sound was sharp. Max jumped in front of her. He stood between her and the sound like a protector. Like he was guarding her. Emma froze. She slowly smiled. He is not just any dog. Later that evening, Emma played a game. She pointed her finger like a toy gun and said, "Bang!" To her surprise, Max dropped to the ground like he was pretending to be shot. Emma gasped. How did you know that? Her uncle, who was nearby, said, "That dog, he has been trained. That is not something you teach a farm." Dog Emma sat beside Max again. She stroked his fur. "You are not just my friend. You are something more. I do not know your past, but I know your future. It is with me." Max closed his eyes and let out a long, soft breath. Days passed quietly at Emma's house. Max was now living in the garage where Emma had made a small bed for him. She gave him warm blankets and fresh water. She cleaned his space every morning, and she sat beside him every night. Emma's parents watched her closely. They were surprised most kids would forget about a sick dog after a few days, but not Emma. She took care of Max like he was family. She would read stories to him in a soft voice. She would tell him what happened at school. She even gave him one of her favorite hair clips and clipped it to his collar. She said, "This is so. You know you belong here now." Max still limped when he walked. He still flinched at sudden sounds. He still did not bark. But there was something in his eyes that had changed. He looked less tired, less afraid, more alive. One evening, Emma was brushing hay in the garage while humming a little tune. She was not even looking at Max, but she felt it. The air changed. She turned her head and saw it, his tail. It wagged. Not much, but enough to bring tears to her eyes. "You are healing, Max," she said. "You are starting to trust me." She got up and sat next to him. He rested his head on her lap without fear. That was the moment. The moment their bond became something more. Next morning, Emma walked to school, and for the first time, Max tried to follow her. He did not get far, but he stood at the gate and watched until she was out of sight. Emma looked back and smiled. "Wait for me, buddy," she shouted. "I will be home soon." When she returned, he was there. Waiting in the same spot, his ears perked up when he saw her. His tail wagged again. That evening, she played with him in the yard. She tossed a soft ball. He did not chase it, but he watched it. Like he was remembering how Emma's father came outside and watched them. He sat on the porch. His eyes were quiet. Then he said, "I was wrong about this dog. He is not broken. He is just hurting and hurt. Things can still be good." Emma nodded. "He is more than good. He is brave." Then something unexpected happened. The family was watching TV in the living room. A war documentary came on. It showed scenes from a military base. There were soldiers marching, guns clicking, dogs barking and training. Max was lying on the floor, but the moment the boots started marching, he sat up. His ears shot up, his eyes locked on the screen. He did not move. He did not blink. He was frozen. Emma leaned forward. "Dad, why is Max doing that?" Her father stared at the dog. "That is not normal. That dog remembers something. That is training, military training." They all looked at Max. He was not just watching. He was reacting like he had done it before, like he had lived. Emma's heart began to race. What if Max was not just any dog? What if he had a story that nobody knew? The next day, something even stranger happened. Emma was carrying a small bucket of seeds in the yard. She tripped, and the bucket fell hard on the ground. The sound was loud, sharp. Before she could even think, Max jumped in front of her. He stood between her and the bucket. His body was firm, his eyes scanning, protective. Like a guard, Emma was shocked. "Max, you are protecting me." He looked back at her, then slowly stepped aside. She picked up the bucket and walked back inside. But her mind kept spinning. This dog, he was trained for something big. Something serious. Later that night, Emma and her brother were playing in the living room. She pointed her fingers at Max like a toy gun and said, "Bang, it was just a joke." But Max dropped to the ground instantly. He laid on his side perfectly still. Her brother gasped. Emma froze Max. "Where did you learn that Emma's uncle came to visit that weekend? He had worked with police dogs before." She told him everything. The marching, the protection, the fake gun trick. Looked at Max carefully, then said, "This dog has had professional training. Not just pet tricks. Real training. Maybe even military." Emma felt her chest tighten. "What happened to you, Max? Where did you come from?" She knelt beside him and hugged him gently. "You are safe now. You do not have to remember those hard days anymore." Max licked her hand, his eyes soft, but behind them, still holding old memories. One evening, Emma wandered near the woods behind their house. The grass was tall, the air was still. Was chasing a butterfly. Max followed, but then he stopped. His ears went up, his body tensed. Suddenly, a loud rustling came from the trees, a wild boar snarling, charging straight at Emma. She froze. She could not move. But Max could. In one leap he stood. In front of her he barked loud, strong. His whole body shook with power. He circled the boar, growled, dodged, pushed it back. Emma watched in shock. Max was not scared. He was fighting, protecting. The boar paused, then turned and ran back into the woods. Max came back to Emma. He licked her face, then sat beside her like nothing happened. Emma hugged him tight. "You saved me, Max. You really are a hero." She walked back home slowly, Max at her side. And for the first time in her life, Emma felt like nothing in the world could ever hurt her, not with Max beside her. Max was not just healing on the outside, he was changing on the inside too. Emma noticed it every day when she called his name. He came quickly. When she walked to the mailbox, he followed closely. When she lay down in the grass to look at the sky, he rested beside her in silence. Emma felt it in her heart. Max was becoming her best friend. But more than that, he was becoming her protector. Her parents noticed too. Emma's father said, "That dog watches you like a soldier." Her mother said, "He is always guarding you with his eyes." One evening, Emma's father was fixing the tractor in the garage. He dropped a long metal pipe by accident. It made a loud bang on the floor. Max, who was lying near the door, suddenly stood up. His ears were up, his body tense. He placed himself between Emma and the noise. He stayed still, alert, until her father picked up the pipe and smiled gently. "You are safe, boy. It is okay." Max relaxed and slowly sat down again, but Emma could not stop thinking about it. Why did he react like that? It was not a normal dog reaction. It looked like something from training, like he had done that before. Later that week, Emma was outside playing. She picked up a stick and pretended it was a magic wand. She pointed it at Max and said in a playful voice, "Bang." What happened next made her stop. Cold Max dropped to the ground in a second. He lay perfectly still, not moving at all, just like he was trained to play. Dead Emma's mouth opened. Her mother came outside and saw the whole thing. "Did you teach him that?" Emma shook her head. "No, I just said bang for fun." Her father heard and came over. "That is not something a normal dog knows. That is real training. Somebody taught him that a long time ago." Emma's uncle decided they should take Max to the vet for a full checkup. They needed to know more. He called a local animal clinic and booked an appointment. The next morning, they placed Max gently in the back seat of the car. Emma sat beside him the whole ride, her hand resting on his back. When they reached the clinic, a kind older man named Dr. Simmons came out to meet them. He spoke softly to Max. "You are a gentle one, aren't you? Let us have a look inside the room." Dr. Simmons checked Max carefully. He listened to his heart, checked his bones, and ran his hand down Max's back and shoulders. Then he stopped. "Right here," he said quietly. "What is it?" Emma asked. He felt around Max's shoulder again. "There is something under the skin. Feels like a small piece of metal." Her uncle nodded. Could be. A chip. Dr. Simmons brought a scanner and gently placed it over the spot. At first nothing happened. Then a soft beep came. A damaged chip still working. The vet read the screen. And then his eyes grew wide. My, he whispered. This dog is not just any dog. He turned the screen to show Emma and her uncle name. Bravo 9 status military K9 unit listed as missing in action. 2 years ago, presumed dead during a transport explosion overseas. Emma blinked. She could not believe what she was hearing. Max, her Max, was a war dog. A soldier. Dr. Simmons sat down beside Emma. I remember this story. There was a mission that went wrong. They said all the dogs in that unit were lost. But this one, he must have escaped somehow. And no one ever found him. Emma felt tears fill her eyes. She looked down at Max, who was resting at her feet. You were a hero before I met you. You were trained. You were brave. And I did not even know. Max looked up at her calmly, as if telling her, it is okay. The past does not matter now. They drove home slowly. Emma could not stop thinking about everything she had saved Max with $5. But now it felt like Max had saved her more. That night she sat on the porch with Max. The stars were bright. The wind was soft. She whispered to him, I don't care what happened before. I do not care how far you had to walk or how long you were alone. I am just glad you found me. Max licked her hand and rested his head on her lap. The next few days, something strange started happening. People in the town began to hear about Max. Dr. Simmons told a local reporter about the discovery, and soon an article came out in the small town paper. Headline, Lost military dog found living with 10-year-old girl. Emma's parents showed her the article. There was a photo of Max sitting on the porch, and a short story about how he was found and how he had protected Emma. The story spread faster than anyone expected. Soon, strangers started coming to visit. They wanted to see Max, to bring him treats, to thank him for his service. A retired soldier came with his wife and stood in front of Max. He saluted and said, Welcome home, soldier. Emma watched in silence, her heart full, her eyes wet with tears. Emma realized something important that day. Max was not just her dog. He was a reminder that even the broken, even the forgotten, can still be heroes. And sometimes the ones who need saving are the ones who end up saving you instead. Max was no longer the broken dog Emma found behind that old barn. Now he was strong. He walked with pride. His fur was shiny again. His eyes were bright. He was still quiet, but he was no longer afraid. Max was now a part of the town. People knew his story. They talked about the girl who paid $5 to save a forgotten dog, and how that same dog turned out to be a military hero. Every day people came to visit. Some brought treats. Some just came to see him, and some came to say thank you. And man, in uniform, came all the way from another city. He knelt down in front of Max. His hands were shaking. He said, You were in my unit. You saved lives out there. We thought we lost you forever. Max looked into the man's eyes and gently rested his head on the man's knee. The man saluted Max and whispered, Welcome home, soldier. Emma's parents built Max a new home in the backyard, a strong wooden house with a roof and a soft bed. But Max still liked sleeping near Emma's door. He would walk her to the bus every morning and be there when she came home. He stayed by her side like a protector, like a best friend, like family. Emma told Max all her secrets. When she was sad, he listened. When she was happy, he wagged his tail. They went on walks. They played in the yard. They watched the stars at night. One night, Emma said, You saved me, Max, more than anyone knows. When I found you, I thought I was helping you, but you helped me more. One morning, a package arrived. It had a letter, and inside was a medal and a certificate. The letter came from the army. It said Max was being honored for his service and for saving Emma from the wild boar in the woods. Emma placed the medal around Max's neck. She smiled and said, You are not just my hero now. You are everyone's hero. Max sat still, calm and proud. as if he knew this moment was meant for him. Later that month, Emma's school asked her to speak at a special event. She stood on stage holding a photo of Max from the first day she met him. He looked small, thin, dirty, alone. Then she held up a new photo. Max, strong, bright, happy. She told the crowd. They said he was broken. They said he was not worth $5. But that $5 gave me a best friend. It gave me a hero. Max did not just protect me, he taught me how to believe in love and never give up on anyone. The room was silent. Some were crying. Others clapped softly. Her teacher had tears in her eyes. Emma and Max became an inspiration to many. People started adopting older and injured dogs from shelters. Some said, "If Emma could love a broken dog, then so can we." Emma's story was printed in the local newspaper. The headline said, $5 hero, dog saves. Little girl and town's heart. A reporter came to film them for a short video. It showed how Max used to be and how he had become a symbol of hope. At the end of the video, Emma said he did not need much, just someone to care. And now I will care for him forever. As time passed, Max began to slow down. His steps were softer. His naps were longer, but his heart never changed. His love never faded. Emma understood. He had done enough. He had carried his pain. He had shared his love. He had found peace. She sat beside him on the porch one evening. The sun was going down. The sky was orange and gold. She whispered, "Thank you, Max, for finding me, for staying, for being everything I ever needed." Max rested his head on her foot and closed his eyes. Safe home. Love. If this story touched your heart, then take a moment to ask yourself, would you give $5 to save a life? Would you believe in someone when no one else would? Have you ever found something special in someone others forgot? Let us know in the comments below. We want to hear your story. Your voice matters here, and if Max and Emma's journey made you smile or cry, then please like, share, and subscribe. Because stories like this are real and they remind us what love truly means. Sometimes heroes come in silence. They have fur. They walk beside us. They ask for nothing, but give us everything. See you in the next story. And never forget, kindness can change a life even with just $5.